and have a conversation about this. We have all put in good money and good time and love and care to where we live, and we like to keep it that way. We love our green space, we love the animals, we love the peace and quiet here. And I think, I agree with the previous gentleman who was saying we have plenty of places to walk. I fully agree with him. Passive parks are wonderful places, and they give chances for other things to come into them that if you over-plan a place, they will never travel that way again. So, thank you very much for listening, and I really wish there was not a rush to judgment. Okay? Thank you.
As I had noted before, a letter was sent to the 511 Park Board through Justin. No response was received. There have been a number of attempts by Scott talking to Justin to create a cooperative agreement. Just a little sideline on that, he has not responded whatsoever. With the auditors, well, let me go back to the other thing. With the auditors' decision on us redoing our cash journals, which was necessary, I called Roy Pottigel for some information. He was the chairman at the time. I talked to Roy, I said, we have this situation here, can you fill me in on why you did this, why you did that, why you did the 80-20 split? He told me that he was instructed by Justin not to speak to us. That was quite disarming. Then I decided I was going to call the bookkeeper who was in charge of doing the cash journals and the budgets and many other things, to find out from her her information that we needed to know from 2014 and 16. Well, she said she couldn't help me. I think that probably might be the case because she is the trustee's secretary, and perhaps her job was in jeopardy if she had discussed it with us. But I was astonished when Roy Pottigel said he was instructed not to talk to us. We have been trying, we have tried for a cooperative agreement. We understand that if people are asking why are there two park districts, the 511 Park District actually was created on a false premise. And that false premise was no local control. What are we, aliens from somewhere else? We are all conservation-minded, preservation-minded. I have been on the zoning board for the last, it ended in 2016 when my application was not renewed by Justin. But 20 years I spent volunteering my time to Russell. I'm interested in Russell. I care for Russell. I understand what our Russell residents want. But powers that be do not agree. And this is where we are.
Do we have any new speakers? Yes.
My name's Chuck Campbell. I live on Chillicothe Road, Russell. 45-year resident here, voted for parks in the past, and congratulate the board and past boards for purchasing 422 acres in Russell and doing a pretty good job of it over the years. It seems that this whole conversation about parks has kind of turned into a grudge match between the judge, Rendell, and some other people who can't seem to grow up, put on their big boy pants, and converse with this group, and also with the auditor. We all know what the county went through here with the shenanigans that was going on. It's not much wonder there's not a lot of accountability in some places when you look back on that. I think the suggestion of this fellow here about the idea of maybe having Mr. Walder, who was very competent, did an excellent job in Russell as our fiscal officer, that perhaps you look at that and maybe you can get two of you on the same page. Right now, we're in a really bad situation because we've had a primo property come on that they want to go to parkland, and nobody's got any money. Lygan's Lake out here, beautiful piece of property, that whole thing. When they went for the Westwoods here, we had two ladies, Gabby and Margaret, I'll leave their last names off, raised a lot of money. And they secured the financing to hang on to that property long enough to get it purchased. Now, the last thing on my agenda is, will you people quit running to the press every time somebody disagrees with you? All the time. Ink. The more commotion we can make, the better we are. Cut it out. Grow up, put on your big boy pants, and be a citizen, not as an activist.
Anyone else like to speak tonight? Okay. I want to thank everyone for their comments. Mostly we were able to act civilly toward each other, and I appreciate that. I know that we don't all agree on the issue at hand, but I am thankful to live in a township where people are passionate about conservation and about parks. I too want to preserve the green space. Make no mistake about it. So as we head into the executive session, I just hope that you'll ask yourself and consider for yourself whether partnering on some of our lands with an experienced, established organization with staff biologists, botanists, and naturalists, and with programming and park rangers makes more sense than rolling the dice and hoping that the people that have been misbehaving this far don't continue, because if they do, our lands will be made available to ODNR and other places. If you think this is a good idea, then I would suggest you both vote no on both levies and save $845,000 over the next 5 years. I'd like to move to enter into executive session.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Looking at this lease, it's a very good lease. Mr. Gillette and Dale Markowitz have generated it. It's basically a maintenance lease, maintaining the property. And that's where the bulk of our money goes, maintaining, snow plowing and mowing and tree cutting. Tree cutting has been exasperating lately, but that's where most of our money is. The basis to this lease is maintenance. If there are any capital improvements or capital repairs to be made, we must approve them, or they don't happen. So that is our control. Can you add to that?
No, I think you did it just right.
Okay, it's basically maintenance, and it's saving taxpayers. Saving taxpayers. I said $715 because I took that 1 year off that we're not being paid. But $715,000 would be going toward the 511 and the 1545. That's an awful lot of money. When in this case, Geauga Park District would be maintaining, and then also if there are if it needs to create a gazebo, build a gazebo, or whatever, we must approve it. It won't go ahead without our approval.
Thank you for that, because it just confirms what I figured. This is a win-win situation to vote no on both things. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I want to open it up to the floor. Go.
Excuse me,
I guess I have one.
I just have a question. Are copies of the lease available to the public where they can see the lease?
They're not available at this
No?
time.
Okay.
I guess I have one concern that was actually just brought to my attention this evening with this passing of the 19 budget for Russell Township. That they have Russell Township. The 511 Citizens Park Board has a little over $25,000 earmarked for legal fees for next year. But yet we have a quote from Cleveland.com about how the trustees are going to go after dissolving the 1545 board. So I just question, if we get $90,000 from Mr. Walter now that he says we have, how much of that are we going to use to defend ourselves against the 511 board, which is just going to be an astronomical waste of taxpayer money, fighting each other for another year? I mean, everybody talks about getting along, and we've tried to get along since January 1st.